cottage home decor is very popular this year, and if you love this theme, you're gonna love this video. For my projects, I need some mushrooms, and I order wooden large mushrooms from Amazon, and smaller mushrooms are from Dollar Tree. I'm gonna be adding some random paints that I got in my stash: DIY paint, Dollar Tree paint, Waverly, and Folk Art to paint them all. After magic happens and the mushrooms are painted and dry, I grab a wooden skewer, and with a beige paint, I'm going over each mushrooms to add polka dots. If you add a larger amount of paint to your skewer, it's easy to remove it on a paper towel and then continue adding the polka dots on each mushroom. Super simple and easy process. For the light mushrooms, I needed a darker color. I am using a gray paint and doing the same thing with a wooden skewer, adding a polka dots. I went to my local Dollar Tree and grabbed those candle holders together with 2 galvanized caps. I'm gonna paint them with this beige chalk paint, both the caps with the holders, and now when they're nice and dry, I'm gonna glue them together and turn them into risers. To glue them together and make them sturdy, I'm adding Dollar Tree cement glue on top of the candle holders, and I'm gonna add them in the middle of the caps. To make them rustic and worn out, I grab my distressing brush, and with the antique wax, I'm going over my risers on top, on the side, and on the bottom of my riser. On top of the risers, I'm gonna be adding these mini terracotta pots, also from Dollar Tree, and with the glue, I'm gonna glue them on each of my riser. I'm gonna be adding 3 of my mushrooms on one riser and 3 on another. Before that, I added some moss. I believe this is a Spanish moss, and with the glue, I'm adding inside of the pot and outside of the pot. I'm repeating the same thing on my second riser with the moss, and now I can add the mushrooms on each of my risers. I'm adding a glue on the stem of the mushroom, and I'm gonna glue each of them just like that. I decided to add more Spanish moss on inside of my pots. I glue the smaller mushrooms between the 2 mushrooms, and I repeat the same thing on my second riser. Now it's time for the acorns. I grabbed this bag of acorns from Dollar Tree, and I'm gonna glue 1 acorn on each of my risers. I'm also adding some berries on each of the risers. I'm adding some flowers, fall flowers, all from Dollar Tree, and I'm gluing them on top of the moss. At the end, I'm adding some purpurys, and I grab a couple of them, and I'm gonna glue them around my risers. I have also added some leaves on the side, and this is it for this project. I'm so excited that I'm collabing with my darling friend Jackie from Crafting in Mimi's World, and we are both creating Cottagecore Fall DIYs. I love my friend Jackie. She's creating beautiful home decor, and if you haven't visited her channel, please do so, because she's not just an amazing person, but she's a super talented creator. Links in my description box. For my next project, I'm gonna be using this large olive oil can. I'm gonna be using a white Rust-Oleum spray paint, and After it's nice and dry, I'm gonna be adding this decoupage sheet. I'm cutting off the edges in a shape of the oval frame, and now I'm gonna be adding it to my can. Since the can is too large, I decided to put this sheet in the middle part of the can. With the help of a Mod Podge, I'm gonna decoupage it, and simple as that, we're gonna have a nice mushroom vase. I'm adding a small amount of Mod Podge and going over before I added the decoupage, and now with my fingers I'm going around the sheet and make sure it's nice and smooth. I'm also using my decoupage brayer to make sure that there is no wrinkles or bubbles on my sheet. I'm finishing up the edges of the sheet and doing the same thing on the other side of the edge as well. The sheet is not completely covering my can, but not a problem. We're gonna make it look very nice at the end. When the sheet is done, now I'm thinking what should I do on the top and on the bottom where the white part is left. First I thought I'm gonna be add that ribbon, but that's too much colors at one place, and I decided to add this Monner Garden DIY paint and paint over where is no decoupage sheet at, on top, on the bottom, and on the side and on the back, just like that. Now when it's all nice and dry, to smooth out my decoupage sheet, I grab my mini press, and with the parchment paper on top of it, I press it out and smooth it out. And at the end, I am just sealing my decoupage sheet with a Mod Podge, and that part is done. To make it nice, rustic, and cohesive with my sheet, I'm going over with a white DIY wax over my paint, and after I cover the whole can with the wax, I grab a towel and I'm just wiping it off, and now I have a rustic vintage look to it. Also on top, for extra embellishment, I'm gonna be adding this lace ribbon from Dollar Tree, and I just cut off a line just enough to fit the whole pot on top, on the back, and on the side. I'm also repeating the same process on the bottom with the lace ribbon and covering all sides of my vase. And also for extra embellishment on the bottom of my vase, I'm gonna be adding one of those Dollar Tree burlap flowers. I created a bouquet to be cohesive with the picture of the decoupage on the vase. I added some foam mushrooms from Dollar Tree, add them in a wooden skewers with the flowers, and that's how it came out. For my next project, I'm using this large can. Previously, I spray painted with a white paint, and now I'm gonna be adding a different decoupage mushroom sheet. I'm adding a Mod Podge, and I'm gonna go around the can, and with the fingers to smooth out the sheet. Slowly I'm going and covering my can with this nice decoupage sheet. I'm gonna try to link all those decoupage sheets that I'm using today in my description box. I purchased those from Zazzle, and if you're interested, you can always purchase them. This can is full of ridges. Slowly I'm just going with the fingers and trying to smooth it out so we don't have any bubbles or wrinkles on it. I'm also using the brayer, and now when that part is covered, I'm also trimming off the edges, and those extra sheets I'm gonna be adding them on the back part of the can. And with adding those sheets together, it doesn't even look like we cut off the pieces. When we distress them, it's gonna look like one piece is added in this can. Also, I wanted to show you that you can use this mini press with a parchment paper to smooth out the sheet, and we don't have any bubbles and wrinkles. Also, on top of the can, I'm gonna be adding this fringe ribbon, and with the glue, I'm going around and covering it all. I'm using the can lid and I'm gonna be covering it with a Dollar Tree rope. I started with the middle part, adding a glue and making it in a shape of a snail. I'm gonna use it all until it's all fully covered. The rope that I'm using from Dollar Tree is the 8 feet and it fitted all to cover the whole lid for the can. If you are selling cans like this, also I would suggest to add some fabric inside of the can, since I'm using mine for decorative purposes for my house and as a storage, I'm gonna leave like it is. To get rid of the fuzzies from the yarn, I'm using a lighter and going over until they're all removed. And with this, I'm also giving the more vintage rustic distressed look with a lighter. To seal my can, I'm also adding a Mod Podge, and on top of that, also I'm gonna be adding a metal knob that I got in my stash, and with the glue, adding it in the middle of the lid. And this project is done. For my next project, I'm going to be using this cork large sign purchased from Hobby Lobby on clearance. I painted with a beige paint, chalk paint, 2 coats, and now I'm going to be adding this beautiful Alice in Wonderland decoupage sheet. Since the sheet is not large enough to cover the whole sign, I decided to add it in the middle part of my sign, and I'm going to be using the same process with a Mod Podge and adding this beautiful decoupage sheet on it. This art piece is just perfect for a cottagecore home decor that I am creating today, and we can even use it for any season. It can go for spring or fall or everyday home decor as well. As I mentioned, I'm using the same process with just a little amount of Mod Podge, and with this sponge brush from Dollar Tree, I'm going over and then with the fingers slowly smoothing it out until it's all fully covered. Using the brayer as well to smooth it out with no wrinkles. You can also use a press like I use it on my previous with a parchment paper if you had some wrinkles or bubbles, and it's gonna look like one piece together when it's all nice and done. When it's all nice and dry, I just grab antique wax, and with my distressing brush I'm going over, and then as you can see, the original picture had a flowers on the top and on the bottom, and with this distressing you can still see those flowers that they're on the 2 corners, and then for the other edges that they're like a simple, I just decided to add 2 wooden applique. I added a glue, and to seal my picture I also added a Mod Podge, and this project is done. As a display, I set it up one of my previous decoupage art pieces that I made, and that one reminded me of my younger daughter, and this Alice in Wonderland art reminded me of my oldest daughter. And here you got one beautiful decorative piece together with my both daughters. For my next project, I'm using these 3 wooden slices from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to be using another decoupage mushroom sheet. This time I'm going to cutting off the mushrooms just to fit in these wooden pieces, and I'm going to put them all together. So I'm just cutting off first for the first slide, and then doing the same thing for the other 2 wood slices as well. For the third wooden slice, I didn't have enough longer sheet, so I cut off both of the leftover sheets so I can make them into one piece together, and when we decoupage them, it's not even gonna look like we put 2 sheets together. to decoupage. It's always fun and you can always be creative. You can add sheets like this in one piece and it's not even gonna be noticeable. You can also add some Dollar Tree napkins and be creative and create a beautiful decoupage art pieces, and they're gonna be perfect look for home decor, very low on a budget. Now that I put together all the sheets, how they're gonna look on my wooden slices, I start with the Mod Podge and doing the same process, just decoupage them smoothly with the brayer and the fingers. And then this time for the edges, I'm using the lighter just to trim off and fit enough into my wooden slices, and that's it. This part is done and the project is looking good so far. I did the same thing on the second one and same thing on the third one as well, and also I sealed them with a Mod Podge, and then the edges to smooth them out I use a nail sander, and that's it. For this project I'm using a wooden oval slice and adding the rest of my mushrooms that I have. I'm gonna be adding 4 mushrooms, and this time I'm mixing 2 kinds of moss, the Spanish moss and the green moss together, so we can have a mixture of colors to match with the forest nature look. And I'm gluing the mushrooms and we have a nice decorative shelf seater. This time I wanted to make this project nice and simple. I didn't want it to add some flowers on it. I just wanted to add some moss and the mushrooms and show you if you want to make something like a simple primitive look. For my next project, I'm gonna be using these Woodland figurines, porcupine and raccoon. I paint them with a beige chalk paint. When they were nice and dry, I distressed them with the antique wax. And here they are, super quick and easy to match with my cottagecore look. Also, another quick and easy DIY, the leftover terracotta pot. I added a moss, a variety of different flowers, and also in front of my pot I will be adding some mushrooms to it as well. When the pot is full with variety of different flowers, at the end I'm adding a larger and a smaller mushroom on top of the moss. Also around the pot I added a green leaf ribbon just for extra embellishment, and this project is done. To complete the adventure of a cottagecore decor, I found this bus, adventurous wooden bus from Joanns for like $1 and some change on clearance. It came in so many pieces to add it together, but it was so easy to put all those wooden pieces together, and it was so fun and relaxing to create this. So when you see pieces like this at your crafting store, grab them, not just as a therapy, but those can look very beautiful as a decorative piece in your home. And to not bore you, I speeded up the process just so you can see how easy I put all those pieces together. I believe there were like 100 pieces until the whole bus was added together, but it was, as I mentioned, so simple and easy to add this wooden decorative piece. I took it out, used a brown Krylon spray. I spray painted, and when it was nice and dry, I used those round sponge brushes from Dollar Tree, and with a burlap paint, I'm creating a polka dots all over my bus so it can be part of my cottagecore nature home decor. If you don't like polka dots, you can always add different colors. The taste is different always. You can distress it, whatever you like to match with your home decor. When it was all nice and done, I added some mushrooms on top of it, and my adventurous bus is done. Another quick and easy decoupage art piece. I paint the inside part of this sign with a cream color, and now I did the decoupage with this mushroom page, also purchased from Zazzle. And when I did the whole decoupage with it, I'm adding back the frame, gluing it back, and simple as that, we have another beautiful art piece to match for our vignette. I hope I gave you tons of inspirations today for you to create home decor on budget and very trendy and chic and high-end boutique. Don't forget to check out my amazing darling friend Jackie. And Jackie, my darling, thank you for collabing with me today. It was so much fun and I love you. And until next time, my darlings, I'm sending you lots of love, lots of music, positive energy. God bless you from me to you. Bye-bye.